Oh, well, here we are. Hmm. How many of us were up in Nan? Probably two-thirds. Same, right? Yeah, all. Yeah, yeah. That was great. Oh, I haven't said hello to folk online. Oh, my apologies, folk online. Um, Hello. I wish I could see you, but welcome to Neranara Resort. And we just did the eight precepts, as you know. So I hope you can just join in the retreat in whatever way works for you. Do your best. Um, so what was the title? Our ultimate desire is the end of desire. So when I think of the sponsors for this retreat who have the organizers and the sponsors who I know quite well, I feel tremendous gratitude. And that's the end of desire. Shall I? So when our desire, our ultimate desire is the end of desire, we're thinking of the third noble truth, Nirod. And sometimes when you have that idea of Nirod, it's like some massive experience where all suffering ends. Certainly, we read about things like that, but also I think you can approach it in a very human and reasonable way. Because when I feel gratitude, I don't feel desire. I don't know about you can't do two at once. I can feel gratitude and then grumpy maybe in the next minute. But so gratitude seems to me some important part of Nirod, of the end of suffering. And sometimes when we talk about cessation of craving, that sounds very sterile, doesn't it? Cessation is, there's nothing in it, but we are heart beings and we do feel joy and beauty and such like. And joy and beauty doesn't have to be a function of desire. So this beautiful health initiative up in Nan, where I think we had 2,800 cases of skin disease, 1,100 eye examinations. There were 30 dental chairs. It went on and on and on and on. And as Yon Vibun said, he was imbun. It was kind of full of the sense of goodness. And that's very joyous, isn't it? And that's not a function of desire. So joy, um, it can be experienced through the good heart. Right? And all the different ways, actually, we experience non-desire. Non-desire itself is a very, well, it's a negation of desire, but the Brahma Viharas, you think of it, metta, true metta. And you can worry about your kids. That's not metta. That's worrying about your kids. But true loving kindness, that's not desire. Mudita is not desire. When I saw all the goodness in Nan and how many people were working so very hard. Tremendous mudita, tremendous sense of humility, actually. I thought, wow, that's really, I mean, to pull that off is something. It was like, it was just amazing. So I can feel humbled by something very wholesome and good. That's not desire. There's many, many ways, actually. I think we experience aspects of Nirod, but we don't tend to. Well, maybe we do, but we tend to focus on like a meditative experience. And quite often in a meditation retreat, we focus on ideas of samadhi, but really samadhi must be a part of the Noble Eightfold Path. It can't be something separate. It can't be just some experience which is exclusive of the Noble Eightfold Path. So when we're contemplating what the Noble Eightfold Path is, it's what is it? It's a kind of investigation of craving, isn't it? An investigation of wanting. Because Buddhism is about understanding. It's not about just willfully doing something. And it seems to me that that suffering, its cause, the end, and the path is an investigation of wanting. A kind of like and so this is a laboratory. We're setting up a laboratory, um, and then we're going to watch what happens when we get what we want and when we don't get what we want. So the idea that you could get everything you want on this retreat is dumb, isn't it? Is impossible. So there's to be some things which will not fit your desire patterns. Hmm? Maybe pain in the body. Probably the most difficult thing on a retreat is the first few days. You feel so restless. And that's very natural. Like the organizing that you all had to do for this massive health initiative, that's a lot of work and it's a lot of busyness. So the mind is going outside. So if we think of Luangpor Duns, the mind going outside is the cause. The result of the mind going outside is suffering. And so you've been doing that full on for a very wholesome cause, which doesn't mean there wasn't friction or difficulty or challenges. But so for like a year, I've been planning this initiative. So all the time the mind's going outside on, texting people or online or on WhatsApp and then organizing things plus all the rest of your life. So the mind has been outward tremendously for this past period. And all of a sudden you come in here and you're cold turkey. Well, that's really, really difficult actually. So if you don't feel happy the first few days, that's normal. That's restlessness because you're not getting what you used to. Huh? So do remember that the process of a retreat is allowing the mind to be restless, not just trying to control it with anapanasati. Certainly we use anapanasati as a kind of grounding principle, but more I would say with the language we need to use is kantiparami, be patient. And like when Yongpung was saying, you're saying we can, whenever we, that was kind of a good point when you said about Kanti, that whenever we use the language of Dhamma, we become objective to what's going on. So let's say you're really, really restless and you're thinking about something and you're struggling, you say, oh, just be patient. That puts you in the witnessing posture. You're now witnessing restlessness. Yes. Why? Because you're able to say to yourself, be patient. And so much of Buddhism is like using this language, that beautiful language that we have, to come back to witnessing or puru. Okay. And we all know that. And we just have to keep remembering it. And hopefully fellows like me can remind you and so on. But it's our own remembering, it's our own doing. And we've all of us have had a lot of experience in meditation. So you have your own wisdom, you have your own insight, and you'll use that, which is the way it should be. The structure of the retreat then is we all know this, but it's good to just to remember how a retreat is the kind of methodology of a retreat. So we have um, 10 days or one in, one out, so 8 full days of this kind of structure. And when we take the 8 precepts, we're not just taking the precepts, but we're making intentions, correct? I'm making intentions. It's very important to make clear intentions in developing your mind. So, one of the intentions we've made on this retreat is to really try to practice noble silence. And that's difficult. If we've been talking a lot and we have our friends here, it's not easy to do. People who are naturally more reclusive find it easy. People who are more gregarious find it more difficult. So be it. But what we are making an intention now, right? And the intention is to try to not use language or speech when unnecessary. Now, we don't want to make it a police state. We don't want like Kuba Adicho going around with a stick, and every time he sees you talking, he whips you with a stick. It's against the Vinaya. Uh, but we don't want that. We don't want to be like all afraid and, someone's going to catch me talking. Well, if you don't want to talk, no one's going to catch you. So we want to make it a place of kalyanamitta. That's the most important thing, isn't it? That we come together now as good friends and good practitioners and with loving kindness. If we get that right, then everything else will be okay. But part of our kalyanamitta is to make intentions to do this together, isn't it? That if only half of us decide to do noble silence, then one half we'll probably have a war or something like that. So we all have to make intention, and this is how the bhikkhu life works. When we ordain as bhikkhus, we make a very strong intention, a very strong adhitthana to our upachaya and to the community. We say, I'm going to try to live by these rules. I'm going to honor the dana that's given to me, and I'm going to really try to live by the rules. And that's intention. And so when we make an intention, that sets up mindfulness, right? If like say like with noble silence, the image I had was, the kind of Nok Air stewardesses when they tell you to put on the seatbelts. What a horrible job! They're telling everyone to put on a seatbelt and how to use uh, the life preserver, and we're all over land, right? There's no water, and you think no one's listening to her. Everyone. Now, you don't want me to be like the stewardess, right? They're always just talking about the eight precepts. I don't want to be a knock stewardess. Thank you very much. But it can be like that. You think, oh, yeah, he's just talking about the eight precepts. It doesn't really apply to me, which then we wouldn't have samaki, right? We don't have samaki if we all agree to do this. But it's not from fear. It's from kalyanamitta. If I practice in this way, like Luangpor Cha was asked that. He was asked, "Well, Luangpor Cha, you're an enlightened being. Why don't you eat in the afternoons and don't worry about the rules?" He said, "Well, if I don't keep the rules, the young monks won't keep the rules. If the young monks don't keep the rules, the novices won't keep the rules, etc., etc." And so the to work as a sangha, because that's what we're doing, we're all agreeing to live within the boundaries of this. And that's very beautiful. So you all know that when you come into the shrine room and you see, like, maybe you come in at like 5 o'clock and you think you're early, and there's someone there that's already there. And then you come in at 4:30 and they're already there. I mean, that's intimidating, but it's also very inspiring, isn't it? You got to feel, wow, this person's really putting forth effort. So yeah, I had that a lot with, like, the Venerable Anando, who's died, but we're both from North America, and we were the same age, and he was a Marine. Well, was he tough? But we push each other in the meditation. We'd sit a lot after the evening puja, and we come early, and that was really good. Kalyanamitta, two young guys, got a lot of energy. Okay, let's do this. Um, so think about that. How do you do Kalyanamitta and yet do noble silence? It's an interesting one, because the retreat really is a very personal thing. I am in with my karma, my mind. I want to be alone, in a sense. I want to be with my own mind. If I have troubles, I want to be with those troubles. I don't want you to make me happy, because I don't get this opportunity maybe to actually feel sad or feel depressed or feel upset. It's not bad. It's not bad, because then we can look at it and learn a lot from it. So it's an interesting thing where we practice noble silence, but we're good friends. We're good friends, and we support each other through that kind of structure. And then also with the structure, just think that it's something you can surrender to. You can surrender desire to the structure. Whereas in this health initiative up in Nan, you couldn't surrender desire. You had to use desire, right? To get people to come and to organize. How many was there? 5,000 dishes of food was organized. You can't just say, "Oh, let the devas take care of this." It doesn't work that way. You have to work very, very hard, and that's the way it should be. But this is different, isn't it? We have this beautiful dana. Um, we have this kind of generous opportunity. So in a way, you're like bhikkhus now. You're getting like, we get a free lunch, but it's not a free lunch. We have to work hard. So in the same way, you're in the same situation that a bhikkhu feels when he goes on alms round, and a little mat puts in food in the bowl, and then I remember at Nanachat, when I was there long ago, I'd come out in the morning, and there was a field, and a man very strong man would be plowing the field with kwai, before they had the tractor, and he was in mud up to his thighs, and it looked so difficult. Big, powerful man. And then I'd walk up into the village, and his wife would be giving me food in my bowl, and that was so inspiring. And of course, it motivated me to practice. So in the same way that we have this generosity given to us, we have the same motivation. Now, motivation, you don't want to kill yourself with motivation. That's wrong. I'm gonna get at least anagami by Tuesday, right? Forget it. So you have to be an earthworm, very humble, nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to become, just constantly awakening to the way things are. So there is adhitthana, there is effort, but it's always from a sense of just awakening, not getting something, because getting something is desire. And as soon as, I don't know, for me, as soon as someone said retreat, desire to get jhana or to get attainment or satapatti and all this stuff, and I wouldn't look at suffering. So what we do is we set up the structure. So we have morning meditation at 5:30, and finishes at 6:30. And then we have a bit of, is anyone doing yoga exercises? Someone's leading? Yeah, you're doing it again. Good, good. Yom Jim. Okay, so we have that, and you can say something because you're the teacher. Like I can say something. You got, okay, you're in, but then you have to stop, and then we have breakfast, and then we have the morning meeting at 8:30 to 9:30. So if everyone would for sure come to that if you can, because that's when I like to give instruction. And then we have a chunk of time before the meal. Then we have the meal. Then at 2 o'clock, I don't think I'll give much teaching from the 2 to 3 because I want to spread it out over 8 days. I'll run out of things to say. I'll run out of voice too. Um, so we have all afternoon, big long chunk of time, 2 to 5. Now that that chunk of time is really important to not just goof around. You know the word goof around? It's like, um, don't read during that time. Don't don't snack. Don't don't eat endless. Don't drink endless cups of tea. Do formal practice. Sitting, walking, walking, sitting, or sitting, walking with walking and sitting. Or you can walk and sit, or you can sit and walk, or you can lie and you can stand and you can sit and you can walk. But do formal practice because it's very valuable to get a long, long chunk of time where you're not distracting. And it's hard to do because you get bored. I mean, what's more boring than 3 hours of just walking, sitting, sitting, walking? But boredom is because you're not stimulated. So if you think about it, we've all been stimulated by life, by all kinds of events, very, very strongly. And now we're not being stimulated. We have to the most boring, mundane thing, walking back and forth. So you can look at the flowers, but that gets boring, right? But to look at your mind now, and that's the opportunity. So you walk for a period, sit for a period, doing lying meditation for a period, see what happens. Give it a chance. See what happens if you can keep it going for 3 hours. Obviously, if you're tired and whatever, it's not working, there'll be no policing of this, but make that part of your adhitthana. I'm going to try to do 3 hours, and this is very much the Thai forest tradition. Luangpor Cha and Luangpor Liam and all the Kubajans have always encouraged us to do lots of bhavana, do lots of bhavana, and then see what happens. Now, consider how desire works. You are walking back and forth after, you say, oh, this is nice, nice and peaceful. After 15 minutes, you are bored and your mind starts to think. And then you try to get rid of thinking, and that doesn't work. And then you get to the end of the path and you start again and you say, now I'm not going to think for 20 paces. And you're thinking at 5 paces and you feel frustrated and you get to the end and you stop. But each time you stop, you have to awaken the mind. That's what's important. So you say, Benyang Niang. It's like this. And if you use that language, it's like this. You have to notice the silence after the language. When I say it's like this, then I must listen to the silence because there is silence there all the time. If you say it's like this, it's too hot, I'm not getting anywhere, it was better last year, I shouldn't have come. That's not, it's like this. That's just more thinking, right? But it's like this, you stop, listen, and you notice the silence of the mind, the silence of no thought. It's always there. It's always the background, right? And so what happens in a retreat, you it seems hopeless. The mind is so restless and it wants to think and it wants to plan and wants to complain. It does all that. And you have to be very patient with that. But each time you awaken to the way things are, each time you notice that you're thinking, thought has stopped, right? But then you think again that you shouldn't be thinking. Why am I thinking? So you're more thinking. So just stop and use sound. Sound is very, very good. Use sound and just listen. So like right now, I can just listen. Now I hear the air conditioners, but I also notice the silence of no thought. That's the background. It's always there. It's not something you create from desire. It's just you have an intention to notice something. If I created it with desire, then it would fall apart. But this the silent puru, it doesn't fall apart because it wasn't, it's just there all the time. It's Dhammachat, it's nature. And if you notice that when you walk to the end of the walking path, even if your mind has been very busy, and it will be, it's just the way it is, then at the end, do stop and just listen. Well, there it is. Okay, I'm back home. Glap leo, yeah, glap ban leo. Turn around, and your mind will be thinking already. Yeah, just stop. Don't try to get rid of thought. Don't do. It's like this. Stop thinking. That's not. It's like this. That's vibhava tanha. Shemai? It's another kind of craving. So one of the difficult cravings we have is to get rid of thought. Does not work. But awakening to the fact that there is thought, there is a gap, that works. And the gaps are small. Just keep making the gaps bigger. Just keep doing that a lot, a lot, a lot. So it's very simple that way, but our minds are complicated. Our habits are complicated. They're very, very strong. So we have the structure and we give up to the structure. So it's like now you're in your Volkswagen or whatever car you like, and the retreat is the car, the vehicle. And if you want to come to morning meditation, good, come. If you don't want to come at morning meditation, good, come. Is that right? Right? If you want to if you want to have breakfast at 6 o'clock, good, no. If you want to have breakfast at 7 o'clock, good, yes. If you want to have breakfast at 8 o'clock, good, no. So you have a choice. You can have breakfast at 7 or no breakfast at 7. But you see, not being, you have something to give up to now. You just give up to this, and then you can watch desire, right? Now, there's no way this structure is going to fulfill all your desires. It can't. It can't be possible. But you're not, we didn't come to this retreat to get what we want. We came to this retreat to watch wanting. So if you like with the meal, now people have very refined sensitivities to food and food allergies and all kinds of things, which is important. But now your choice is take it or leave it. If you like it, take it. If you don't like it, that's your problem. And and so you give, this is what a bhikkhu does. Bhikkhu doesn't go to Luangpor. Hey, Luangpor, uh, could I have another ganom? You imagine what he would do to you? No, you were given this. So your mind might, if you've had a very refined diet and you've had very specific foods of eating, those won't be there. And obviously, it's impossible for us to organize a retreat where all our specific food needs are met. I mean, you couldn't have a retreat. Then, you have to go to the hospital, I guess, or something. So obviously, you'll probably, want something other than is there. There's nothing wrong with that. But to believe that your wanting is like very important, and then to go to Vibhun and say, "Hey, Vibhun, can I have a Caesar salad?" or whatever, that would be dumb because he's not, he's gonna be on your case. But but think about it. You're bound to want something else, right? I mean, it would be natural. Then you can watch wanting. Now you got a chance to watch wanting rather than follow wanting. When you're at home, you can follow wanting to a certain extent. But now you can see, oh, maybe you're the last person and you get no salad. It's a good feeling. It's all gone, right? And then oh, this is the feeling of, I want some salad. And it's a little thing, but it is wanting. It is wanting, isn't it? So all the time now you're watching the senses. What do I have that I don't want? Pain, restlessness, and what do I want that I don't have? So wanting is your theme now, rather than getting what you want. And and this is really how I was trained with Luangpor Cha. He and I wanted other food than sticky rice and chili. I tell you, I really wanted, crazy wanted. And Luangpor Cha would just say, no, 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 content with little, pumak noi. And it was true. I just kept trying. I mean, I had a lot of desire for food. I was a Westerner and I was very malnourished, but I knew that like Luangpor Cha said, did you come for the menu to Wapapong? So then I could take the principles that Luangpor Cha was encouraging, pumak noi, be one content with little. Now I wasn't content, but I could start to incline my mind towards that. And gratitude for these people who were giving me the very, very best. And I could introduce those ideas in the middle of wanting something else. I can do that. And so not only do I have the intention to watch wanting, I can now move my mind to not wanting. Pumak noi is an aspect of Nirod. Tonight, right? It's an aspect of cessation of craving. um, Gratitude, contentment with little, all these things and this is the way I was trained, and we are trained as monks at Wat Pah Pong. So Luangpor Chah wasn't saying that you don't desire something. He said, know the desire, but don't make that your highest principle. Make the principle of Pumak Noi, one who is content with little, or gratitude. Make that a higher principle. And I did that. I kept trying. My mind would complain like crazy, but I said, you don't want to believe that mind. That's not a happy mind. That's not an Nirodha mind. That's not an enlightened mind. That's my adolescent mind. So as that mind was going, I could say, yeah, but my teacher said, try to be content with little, be content with little. And that's the way we train our minds. You can't do that right away, but you can incline that way. So we incline with all these wholesome qualities, which are Nirod. You think about it, someone who is content with little. Yeah, it's some aspect of the end of craving, the end of suffering. And then after the retreat, we can all go to a restaurant and have fun. It's okay too. That's all right. But now this retreat, we have this very special opportunity. So as much as possible, just give up to it, see what happens. And then Kalyanamitta, right, really be kind to yourself. Like the teacher I was looking at, she said self-compassion is a profound kind of humility. When the practice isn't going well, or what you perceive well, or you're having difficulty, or you ate too much sticky rice or whatever, then you say, yeah, yeah, but I tried. So self-compassion is very, very important. And much of the suffering that I know I experienced is a kind of vibhava tanha, which it lacks kindness. So if you set some kind of a goal and you say, I'm not getting there, let go of the goals. Just keep letting go of all kind of hopeful goals of attainment, that will just mess your mind up. It really will. And just take it day by day. It's like this. I feel like this. I don't want to be here. Fine. I'll come. I want to go to the meditation. Great. I want to leave after 10 minutes. Good. Don't leave. You just stay for the whole thing. And then it works because you're no longer following desire. You're not following desire. It's not easy. It's how many people can do this? How many people can pick up a very complicated project like you just did, and you were like thinking crazy, like you really had to work, and all of a sudden stop. How many people can do that in the world? Not very, very many. I mean, just giving up your iPhone, that is the biggest addiction going, right? And are they all hidden away? Okay, good. Because tomorrow everyone's going to be looking for their phone probably. But consider how many times in a day your mind goes out to WhatsApp or Line, you know, innumerable times. So each time we have done that, the mind going out is the cause. Now you have nothing to go out into. It'll go into thought or into planning or worry or whatever. And now we're trying to see the mind going outside, so it's not against these devices that we have. They're brilliant for organizing, but now we don't have them. And that's how many people can do that? Not very many people can do that these days. Take a 19-year-old's device away from them and they'll probably leave home. I mean, it's a very, very difficult thing to do. So kind of keep in mind how, this isn't easy and that you have the courage to do this. And keep kind of trying to encourage yourself. If you're feeling restless or grumpy or whatever, or discouraged, so I'll leave that there. Yeah, for your reflection.